Good afternoon, children. In our last class, we had started with our new topic on reproductive health. We had studied, children, a table of various abbreviations, some definitions, and many new technical terms that I had introduced with their meanings. Then, some important dates, problems related to reproductive health, then strategies related to reproductive health, reasons for high population growth in India, its consequences, and various world and Indian figures of population explosion. One thing we realize, children, that this problem of population explosion is a global issue and must be dealt at every level to solve it. Then, today, as we are starting with our new topic, that is methods of contraception, there are 6 methods that we are going to start one after the other. Let us first understand what does the term contraception mean. Contraception is a temporary or permanent measure to prevent pregnancy, that is, avoiding all chances for the union of sperm and the ovum. This is done by 6 methods. Number 1, natural method. 2, barrier method. 3, chemical methods. 4th, IUDs, that is intrauterine devices. 5th, contraceptives. And 6th, the surgical or permanent method. Let us begin one after the other in detail. First is the natural method. In this method, let us talk first that we will avoid all chances of meeting of the sperm and ovum by discussing about natural measures. Under this, the first side heading is the safe period method or the rhythm method. Now, there are certain dates to avoid for the coitus, that is sexual intercourse. 10th to 17th day of menstrual cycle is supposed to be a very fertile period. So, if the intercourse or coitus is avoided in these dates, there will be no chances of pregnancy. But this method has its own limitations, that it is not always very effective and it has limited effectiveness. Let me also remind you, children, in this method, remember in our class 10th we have studied about the ovulation, that is release of ovum from the ovary is on a fixed day, that is 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Alright, then at the same time let me also remind you that ovum remains alive only for 1 to 2 days, whereas sperms are surviving only for 3 days. So this is just to keep in mind before we move further with our methods. The second method, withdrawal method or coitus interruption. Now this method makes sure that it avoids insemination to avoid pregnancy. And once again, this is again not a very fully effective method, so there are chances of failure. Third method, lactational amenorrhea. This method, last time I had introduced this term, children, so let's just quickly revise before we add further. Lactational amenorrhea, just after the parturition, that is a childbirth, there is absence of menstruation, that is the blood discharge from the endometrium. It is called amenorrhea and it is a phase of intense lactation, right? That is heavy milk production for the young one to suckle. And this method is effective only for 6 months after parturition, that is childbirth. So lactational means intense milk production and amenorrhea means no menstrual flow. So this period of 6 months after the mother has given birth to the newly born is a date or a time, we can say, effective for avoiding pregnancy, but only for 6 months after parturition. Coming to the barrier method. Under barrier method, there are some 4 or 5 things to talk about. Before we talk about them, let us see various devices that are discussed under this in the textbooks. Barrier methods of contraceptives to be used. These are certain male condoms, the female condoms, the vaginal diaphragms, cervical caps, walt caps, then spermicidal cream, copper T, multi-load 375, oral contraceptive pills, hormone implant capsules, and various hormone injections. So, when we talk about these, let us talk about the various latex sheets in the form of condoms and the fem shields. The term fem is a short form of female. So these are the shields or the female condoms made up of polyurethane pouch. Coming to diaphragm as a third heading, this is a vaginal barrier, dome shaped, and this is used or fitted over the cervix. What is cervix? The neck of the uterus. Alright, coming to fourth, that is cervical cap. Again, this is fitted over the cervix to prevent the entry of the sperm in the uterus. Coming to the last into this is the walled cap. Now, walled cap is different from cervical cap because this is dome shaped, right? Again, similarity is that this is also resting on the cervix, and this can be removed 6 hours after the intercourse. So let's see. The walled cap is dome shaped as we compare it to the cervical cap. Coming to the third method, that let's talk about the chemical methods. Chemical methods, children. Here we'll talk of contraceptives in various forms of creams, jelly, paste, foam, tablets, etc. Now all of them, they have spermicidal agents. Side means a killing agent. So that means a chemical which is used to kill the sperms. And these are basically 4. Please learn their chemical nature. Lactic acid. 2. Citric acid. 3. Potassium permanganate. And 4th is zinc sulfate. So all these chemicals, they are utilized to prevent pregnancy. Coming next to the use of IUDs or the intrauterine devices. Here they are made up of plastic, metal, or sometimes a combination of both, which are inserted into the uterus. That is why intra. Intra means inside the uterus, so therefore intrauterine devices. We'll study them under 3 side headings. Number 1, this is inert IUDs, then copper teas and hormone releasing IUDs. Under the inert one, let's talk about example lips loop, LIPPES, lips loop. Now this is, we can discuss that this is a polyethylene impregnated by barium sulfate or stainless steel, right? This is to impair the sperm movement by let's say affecting the mobility, and also it has spermicidal effect. Coming to the copper teas. Now this is also called as copper releasing IUDs. Various examples if we talk: CUT or copper T in short, Multilode 375, CUT 380, ionized, all of them they have ionized copper which diffuses at a rate of 50 mu per day. Now out of all of them, mostly the copper teas, they have to be replaced after 3 to 5 years, right? Reason? Because copper ion is being released slowly and gradually and is consumed up. Except CUT 380, this is replaced after the longest time of 7 to 10 years. Coming next to contraceptives. Now contraceptives, again let's talk that these are devices to prevent conception or pregnancy without interfering the reproductive health of the individuals. So there are various choices of contraceptives. Number 1, it should be user friendly. 2, there should be no side effects. 3, it should not interfere with the sexual drive. Alright, so all forms that we can discuss. Number 1, we have oral contraceptive. We also call them as oral pills, right? So what are these chemically? Oral pills are nothing but hormonal composition, usually progesterone, right? We call it progestin or estrogen. Now this specially is available by commercial names like Mala-D. D means daily. This is to be used daily. Whereas another is a product of Lucknow that this has been made, Saheli. This is to be used weekly. Alright. Coming next, Saheli has Centroman, which is a non-steroidal preparation. So this is what we have to learn about the contraceptive pills. Again, one more thing before we move to the second one, that they have to be used from 5th day of menstrual cycle for 21 days. and after a gap of 7 days they can be again repeated after 7 days. Then coming to second, we'll talk about the contraceptive injections. Now this is taken once in 3 months. Example, Depo-Provera. And what is it chemically? It is hydroxyprogesterone acetate. Where it is applied, this injection is applied on the upper arm, the muscles of the female, and it will be effective for 3 months to avoid pregnancy. Coming to the third under this is subcutaneous implant or Norplant. Subcutaneous means below the skin, and this is done once in every 5 years, and this has the hormone progesterone, right? So this is filled with synthetic progesterone, and this is inserted under the skin in upper arm. Next, fourth and the last in this is the emergency contraceptive. We also call it as the morning pill or after pills. These are nothing but these are progesterone estrogen combinations, right? And they avoid all possible pregnancies that could be due to various accidental ways like rape or unprotected intercourse. Coming to the surgical method, which is irreversible and permanent, the vasectomy in males, you can write it here, vasectomy in males and tubectomy in females. Now this is irreversible, as I said, and last time we had discussed this. In vasectomy, a portion of the vas deferens is cut and removed, and these are ligated with nylon threads or tied up. Whereas in females, the tubectomy, because the tube, that is a fallopian tube, a portion is cut and removed and the ends are ligated or tied up to prevent the ovule from entering the uterus, right? So these are the measures of checking contraception or let's say pregnancy, right? So these are over. Coming to our new point for today, I'm introducing a new word now. We'll talk about MTP, though we have done it in our abbreviation list, but in detail. MTP is also called as induced abortion. Technically, this is like intentional termination or killing of the child or termination of pregnancy before fetus becomes viable. Viable means living. That means before the child is born, right, the fetus is killed into the mother's womb by MTP. Now, why it is done? There are various reasons, children. Sometimes it is failure of contraceptive devices, sometimes pregnancies due to rape, and sometimes due to unprotected intercourse, etc. Now, the government has given various acts and laws that MTP, because it is misused in India especially. So there's an act called MTP Act of 1971. According to this, MTP can be done. MTP means killing of the child in the womb. This can be done up to 20 weeks in case of a congenital. Congenital means by birth, malformation or malformed child, or maybe in a case if it can harm the mother. So suppose a female is pregnant and she knows or she visits the doctor and the doctor tells her that the child may be having some congenital defect or a genetic disorder, or maybe that the birth can harm the mother's life itself, so the child is terminated, right? Another act, this is called as Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques or Regulation and Prevention of Misuse Act 1994, right? This has amendments been already done in the year 2003. This act prohibits the prenatal sex determination. Especially in our country, the female infanticide is still prevalent. So some parents, before the child is born and they know that it's a female child, they get her aborted. So this is specially banned. The sex of the child cannot be predetermined, right? And if this is violated, suppose some doctor is held responsible, then there is 5 years imprisonment and a fine of rupees 1 lakh plus cancellation of the registration. That is, a medical doctor's registration would be cancelled, right? Coming next to safe MTP. Now, as I said here, that MTP can be done up to 20 weeks. But the safe MTP is done only in the first 12 weeks, which is called the first trimester of pregnancy. That means this is first 3 months where the mother and the mother would be safe for getting the child aborted, right? But in the second trimester, that is after 12 to 20th week, this will be really risky, because at this time the fetus has become intimately or closely associated with the mother or the maternal tissue. Alright, so I hope you've understood, children. We have also finished with the MTP. Now coming to another new topic where we call this as ART, or assisted reproduction technologies. Assisted means help. That means for those couples who have problem in getting conceived, or let's say giving birth to their children, there are various techniques to help. Nowadays they are very much advanced, and let us discuss one after the other. The first one is IVF-ET. We have discussed it already, the abbreviation, but today we'll detail it out. IVF means in vitro fertilization embryo transfer. In vitro, I told you last time, it means in glass or in non-living medium, right? This is also the other name for test tube baby. We'll talk just now. Then second is GIFT, GIFT, which means gamete intra. See, I'll just remind you here. Here it is, GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer. ZIFT also, zygote intrafallopian transfer. So today we'll detail them out, right? So the third is AI or IUI, and the fourth is ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Coming to the first one, before we start with IVF-ET, children, there are some conditions which I like to discuss with you, that is surrogate mother, womb leasing, and another one is embryo donation. Like before we come to these, let's talk about the availability of these females nowadays. I'm sure you've heard of surrogacy. So who is a surrogate mother, children? This is not very clearly explained in your books, children. So please listen it very carefully. Surrogate mother. Now this term is specially used between a couple. Let's say the male is fertile or the husband is fertile, right? But the wife is infertile. Now I'll just again remind you, infertility can be cured, but sterility cannot be. Last time I told you, sterile will never be cured up, or there'll be no chances of children, but infertility can be, right? So suppose this is an infertile female or a wife, but the male is fertile. That is, sperms would be formed, but here the eggs will not be properly weighed up. In this case, what is done, children? The help, suppose this couple wants their children, right? So they can take the help of a surrogate mother. How they can do that? That the sperms of this father will be introduced into the surrogate mother, right? Who will carry the baby till birth. Till birth, the normal 9-month development of gestation period will be brought out in the mother's womb of surrogate mother, right? And now after the child is born, the baby will be handed over to the parents. The baby in this case has the genes of the father and the surrogate mother. Once again, so surrogacy, children, it is very typical. It has its own problems and moral ethics behind. There are problems also, like the baby may turn out to be abnormal. Who knows that the genes of the surrogate mother could be not normal, or the surrogate mother may not part with the child later on because she may get emotionally attached. So there are various legal norms to help. Alright, so I hope you've understood. Surrogacy is done between a couple. When the male is fertile, sperms are normally produced, but the female cannot produce the eggs properly. So the sperms injected into the surrogate mother. Development of child is done all 9 months into the surrogate mother till the child is born, and now the child is given. So the child had the genes of the father and surrogate mother. Now let us see the difference between womb leasing. Womb leasing is done when the couple, in this case, there is the female which is one step better than the previous condition. Male is fertile, alright, but female can produce eggs but cannot carry the baby throughout 9 months of pregnancy. Here there was a problem with egg production. Here egg production is normal, but carrying of baby is problematic. So what is done, children? Again, the help of a mother is taken. In that case, womb would be leased out. Now in this case, children, the embryo is produced from the husband and wife. That is, the sperm of the father and the egg of the mother is used. They are fertilized and the embryo is produced from the husband and wife and now transferred to a rented womb. In this case, the child has the genes of father and mother itself, and the mother this time will not be called a surrogate mother, but this will not be having any genes into the child. So there's a lot of difference, children. Once again, let's compare this. Surrogate mother had the genes in the child, right? Because the egg was donated. But here, egg plus development, both were donated. But here, in this case, the mother is not giving the egg, but only the rented womb for development. So in this case, the child has no genes of this mother. Alright? Then there's another thing nowadays available. We call it as embryo donation. Right? Now this is done between a couple. Husband is fertile, but wife is infertile and she cannot produce eggs. Right? So in this case, what is done? There's a donor woman who will donate her eggs. The sperms are taken and they're fertilized in vitro, that is outside the body in a petri dish or glass. And the fertilization is done in vitro conditions, and the embryo is now transferred to the original wife. That means, how is it different from the previous one? Here, egg was formed, but the development was not being able to done, right, in the mother. Here it's just reverse, that the mother can develop the baby for 9 months, but she can't produce eggs. So the donor woman helped in this case. So what is the role of this donor woman? Minimum. She's not renting out her womb for 9 months. Neither is she developing the child or any other way by her genes. All she's doing is, genes she is giving, but not keeping the child for 9 months. This donor woman has given her eggs. So after the egg has been fertilized, it is brought back to the mother's body, that is wife's body, right? And the baby has the genes of the father and the donor woman, right? So remember, children, genes are produced from the sperms and the ovum. So whoever is the donor of the egg would carry the genes in the baby, right? So it is introduced into the infertile woman and the problem is solved. So all three cases, children, I have discussed, they are different from each other. The surrogate mother, the womb leasing, and the embryo donation. Alright, coming to the first method, IVF-ET, that is in vitro